Okay. Thank you very much, Shalini. Very good afternoon to all and one and all. First of all, thanks a lot to Clarinet, especially Shalini, for giving me this opportunity. Sorry, actually, this session was planned the day before yesterday, but I had some emergency and so I couldn't attend this. So I have just changed the date and again I'm here for you. So friends, all of you know very well that a midlife woman should have healthy, happy life. Perimenopausal and menopausal issues are a lot many, and a woman is facing so many problems during this period. Out of them, hot flushes are one of the very commonest symptoms. Usually, as a healthcare provider, women come to us first with the first complaint of hot flashes. It is really a burning issue in perimenopausal and menopausal women. So let me go in detail of that, because as a ex-Secretary General of Indian Menopause Society, our main motto is to make a midlife woman fit at 40, strong at 60, and independent at 80. So if a woman is free of various symptoms, then she can be happy and healthy. So let us discuss today regarding hot flushes in detail. There are various terminology used for hot flushes. Some may call these as hot flash, hot flashes also. Maybe due to hot flushes, there is a night sweating in the female, and that's why sometimes it is called as night sweats also. And it is due to the vasomotor instability. It is called as vasomotor instability also. Symptoms are usually experienced during the transition phase, that is the perimenopausal phase, a few years before actual onset of menopause, and through the menopause also. You all are aware of these menace of menopause, the 7 dwarfs of menopause: itchy, weepy, sweaty, sleepy, bloated, forgetful, and psycho. So most of the women are having different symptoms out of this symbolic presentation. Most common psychosomatic problems are vasomotor disorders, that is hot flashes, maybe insomnia, mood swings, urogenital symptoms, sexual problems, having decreased libido, obesity, acne, aches, pains, and depression and emotional psychosis too. So let us discuss regarding the hot flashes. On the lighter part, a woman can say that I'm still hot. It just it comes in flashes now. Hot flushes are the blessings of menopause. Usually during hot flush, I'll discuss in detail just ahead, that there is a fresh gush of blood, feeling of gush of blood coming on the face, and that's why sometimes they are known as blessings of menopause too. Hot flushes can have negative impact on quality of life, as during postmenopause, hot flushes can remain also for few years, maybe 1 to 2 years after menopause, but some may have experience of hot flushes even till 5 to 10 years. They can become a real burden if they are not treated correctly. A woman is having so much feeling of heat during hot flushes that she would like to stay even in the refrigerator too. Let us consider the physiology of the hot flushes. There is a sudden reddening of the skin over the upper body, especially face. There is a profuse sweating. Vital parameters, if we consider, then there is a vasodilatation, tachycardia, blood pressure may be normal, there is a raised skin temperature, but there is a slight decrease in the core temperature. If we consider the mechanism, there is not only the low level of estrogen, but rather fluctuating level of estrogen during the perimenopausal phase and early postmenopausal phase is responsible for hot flashes. There is a sudden downward setting of the central thermostat, neuroendocrine disturbances involving opiates, norepinephrine, GnRH, and histamine. There is inappropriate activation of heat loss mechanisms. All this finally leads to the hot flashes. If we consider the pathophysiology, in addition to regulating the levels of estrogen in the body, estrogen receptor in the hypothalamus also appear to play a major role in temperature control and in release of noradrenaline. So in short, there is a estrogen withdrawal that leads to overactivation of hypothalamic GnRH pulse generator. There is interaction among catecholamines, prostaglandins, endorphins, neuropeptides, resulting in finally peripheral vasodilatation. If we look at the epidemiology for hot flashes, it is most common climatic symptom. It is observed in 70 to 80% of the menopausal women. 75% of Caucasian women experience hot flashes, which beginning prior to cessation of menses, that is in the perimenopausal phase. 85% of the women have hot flashes for more than 1 year, but 25 to 50% may have hot flashes for 5 years, and they may continue indefinitely in some women also. If we look at the global statistics, there is a wide variations. In case of Japanese women, the hot flashes ratio is only 10%, while 80% of the women are having hot flashes in case of Netherlands. Because the physiology differs, differences in the attitude, culture, societies, and individual perception, they are also responsible for the differences in the global incidence of hot flashes. There are various studies carried out. Indian scenario, if you look at that, Ankleshwar just put the statistic like 30% of the patients are having hot flashes, while in 2002, it was found out that the rate of hot flashes is about 42%. If we look at the clinical presentation, there is a sudden transient sensations of ranging from warmth to intense heat that spreads to the chest, face, head, and neck, accompanied with other symptoms as, for example, flushing means sudden rush of blood and perspiration followed by a little chill. Rise in skin temperature about 1 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit, and they may last for 3 to 4 minutes. Sometimes it may last a little longer too. Average duration of hot flashes is about 4 to 5 minutes, but sometimes it can last even up to 30 minutes too. And frequency varies from a few episodes per week to several per hour. So many times it happens that a woman of perimenopausal or menopausal age is sitting in the under the fan or in AC room, and she is feeling hot flashes, and she's just complaining of heat like that. Then the other members of the family or even their kids may just wonder, and they just make joke of their mother that, oh mom, this is so much cool atmosphere and why you are feeling this. But my dear friends, it is a real experience of hot flashes to perimenopausal and menopausal women. Onset in the perimenopause phase is related to the onset of HPO axis dysfunction. Maximum incidence 3 months to 3 years after the last menstrual period. And if untreated, the symptoms persist for 5 years in 57% of the patients. There is one very important question. Are hot flushes a health hazard? Yes, definitely. Because if hot flushes occurs during night time, we call it mostly as night sweats, a woman will feel insomnia, and insomnia will lead to poor quality of life. There is unsteadiness and rotatory vertigo also sometimes, and improved bone density. So if HRT is used for treating the hot flushes, there a woman will have improved bone density. That will be the positive effect after using hormone therapy. What are the risks for hot flushes? Premature menopause is one of the commonest cause. A woman when gets menopause before the age of 40, she is having a lot many hot flushes. Smoking and alcohol are also other risk factors. Lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, obesity, history of premenstrual syndrome, they are also responsible and they are risk factors for the hot flushes. Sometimes surgical menopause, hysterectomy, women are also having hot flushes. And even after tubal ligation, there is a hampering of blood supply to the ovary, which may lead to flushes in some women. Whenever a woman is having hot flushes, we should think of differential diagnosis also. She may have other psychosomatic problems, may be having stress. There may be some thyroid dysfunction, leukemia or malignant tumors, or a woman which is who is using tamoxifen, clomiphene citrate, GnRH analogs, nifedipine, ethanol, like drugs, they are also having feeling of hot flushes. So serum FSH levels should be evaluated where there is a clinical picture is not clear. We can ask women to make a hot flush diary, and various research tools are available, but they are not nowadays in practice. So many workout is needed for that. Various studies have been carried out on hot flushes, but exit estimates hampered by inconsistent definitions and various cultural aspects. The placebo effect is dominant with a larger perimenopausal population, but small non-randomized trials are only carried out. So it also requires a lot many trials. How to manage menopausal symptoms? We all know very well that first diagnosis should be made. Then consultation and counseling of both the partners is a must. Usually, first and foremost treatment of any menopausal symptom is the lifestyle modification. Hormone therapy, when the symptoms are very severe, then they may be advised. If patient is not fit for the hormone therapy, then other options we all have, that is Tibolon. Then prevention and treatment of osteoporosis also we have to take care during this perimenopausal phase of a woman. SERMs are also there, and if anything is not proper for the patient, then isoflavones and alternative therapies can also be tried. Similarly, managing hot flushes, also there are hormonal treatment and non-hormonal treatment. In case of hormonal treatment, estrogen, progesterone, tibolone, and bioidentical hormones can be used. While in case of non-hormonal therapy, SSRI and gabapentin and other calm therapies like acupuncture, phytoestrogen, phytoprogestin, and lifestyle modifications, they are useful. So if we look at the lifestyle modification, we should advise the patient to avoid triggering factors in case of hot flushes. If a woman is fond of tea or coffee to a great extent, then we have to advise her that she should avoid caffeine tea as far as possible, especially not in the evening or late evening she should have it. Hot beverages should be avoided. Alcohol, smoking also should be avoided. And patients should try to remain stress-free. As far as possible, she should live in such a life that it can remain stress-free. And spicy food, oily spicy food usually should be avoided. The patients who are having tendency to hot flushes, we should always advise her to stay in the cold environment. She should be advised for drinking cold drinks, bathing in cold water. She can use fans or air condition, and usually she should use cotton sheets. And cotton layered dressing is a must, which will give better prevention and avoidance of the hot flushes. So suppose a woman gets attack of hot flushes, we should advise her that she should lie down on the bed under the fan or in full AC room. She should just loosen her clothing, and she should try to remain relaxed. Stress reduction, we all know very well that it can be achieved by paced breathing, yoga and meditation, and acupuncture and acupressure. Of course, exercise, aerobic and weight bearing exercise, it is a must for each and every perimenopausal and postmenopausal women. So optional exercise, at least we should advise the patient to at least 30 to 40 minutes doing exercise, at least minimum 5 to 6 days per week. And if patient is obese, which is very common problem of perimenopausal and menopausal women, she should try to lose her weight. Conventional hormone therapy, as we all know that oral hormone therapy will reduce hot flushes by 80 to 90%. And vasomotor symptoms are one of the very commonest symptom, and hormone therapy is one of the very commonest used in case of vasomotor symptoms. Now, if we look at the hormone therapy, which type of hormone therapy should be used? Vasomotor symptoms are relieved even when estradiol as little as 15 picogram per ml is used. So all forms of estrogen will have the with all the forms of estrogen, this level can be achieved easily. And so for treating hormone vasomotor symptoms, all various types of estrogen can be used. No risk of estrogen withdrawal leading to a rebound of hot flushes. So usually you all know very well that estrogen preparations are available in various forms: oral, transdermal, subcutaneous implants, vaginal gel, and intranasal form also. But for hot flushes, vaginal route will not be that much helpful. Oral preparation should be mainly used. If estrogens are contraindicated, then we can use Tibolone or phytoestrogens or various non-hormonal drugs which are available, like SSRI, or even complementary medicine can be used. If we look at the Tibolone, use of Tibolone, the occurrence of hot flushes and night sweats was assigned with the use in case of hot flushes patient, and placebo treatment were also given. But it was found that the Tibolone has better effect in comparison to placebo. Women treated with conjugated equine estrogen or medroxyprogesterone acetate or Tibolone showed significant improvement in postmenopausal symptoms. Even various studies have been carried out on regarding phytoestrogens, various forms like isoflavones, soya products, linseed and black cohoes, and Chinese herbs and wild yam, all have various effect, but not a single study showed a statistically significant benefit with the use of phytoestrogen as compared to placebo. So usually, if patient is having severe vasomotor symptoms, instead of using phytoestrogens or various isoflavones, better we should go for estrogen therapy. Certain non-hormonal drugs are also very much useful and they also give better results, like alpha-2 adrenergic agonist, as for example, like clonidine, or various SSRI in the form of venlafaxine, paroxetine, fluoxetine, 5-hydroxytryptophan antagonist like metazapine or gabapentin. They are having really good results in case of hot flushes. If we consider the complementary medicine, if patient is denying for hormonal therapy or other therapy, then we can advise the patient for complementary medicine like paced respiration, biofeedback, yoga, Ayurveda, various preparation, Tai Chi, and they can also give to some extent good results. Friends, when a patient of perimenopausal or menopausal woman comes to you with a complaint of hot flushes, it is an opportunity for us as a healthcare provider. We know that so many times woman remains the silent sufferer. They will just feel that, oh, this is the due to the menopausal approach, I'm approaching menopause, or this is due to my menopausal problems. So they will not go to the doctor or any other healthcare provider for getting relief of that. But when a woman comes to us for the severe hot flushes, we do get opportunity to counsel them, and we can offer them various preventive measures so that she can live a better life in her later menopausal age, post-menopausal age. So it is found that only 58% of the menopausal women seek healthcare providers due to hot flushes. But as I already told that, it is an excellent opportunity for us to initiate preventive health services in the aging population. Then only we can make a midlife woman to remain healthy, happy in the later menopausal and post-menopausal age. Our Indian Menopause Society has a very good slogan: fit at 40, strong at 60, and independent at 80. And last year, when I was Secretary General of Indian Menopause Society, I have elaborated this slogan to fit at 40, fancy at 50, strong at 60, sexy at 70, independent at 80, naughty at 90, and healthy at 100. So my take-home messages regarding hot flushes will be: hot flushes is one of the indications for short-term hormone therapy. It may not be a major health hazard, but does compromise quality of life. As I already explained that due to hot flushes and when they are occurring at the night time, a woman's sleep will be disturbed. And if you don't have a proper sleep during night, the next day you will feel lethargy, tiredness, and you won't feel to walk. So if symptoms necessitate longer therapy, then we can also take the help of alternative therapies also. And hot flushes is an excellent opportunity to initiate preventive health services in the aging population. So I think this was in nutshell regarding hot flushes and how we should try to get it avoided, and how we can advise our patient to preventive care, or how we can offer our patients regarding various strategy for preventive care in the postmenopausal age. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a beautiful and wonderful session, ma'am. Now I would request all the participating doctors, if you have any queries, please put it in the chat section of the Q&A box, or you can raise your hand if you want to talk to ma'am regarding the topic. I would request all the participating doctors, if you have any queries, please put it in the chat section of the Q&A box, or you can raise your hand if you want to talk to ma'am regarding the topic. Ma'am, Dr. Sangeeta Patil has raised her hand. So, Dr. Sangeeta, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your query.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah.
I am having a patient, 50 years female,
Okay.
weight 55 kg,
Okay.
operated 4 years back, a hysterectomy with bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy.
Okay.
Now she is having so much of hot flushes.
Yeah.
Please suggest me what should I advise.
See, she has already underwent hysterectomy with bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy, so there will be lack of estrogen, and she may have what I just told, that hot flushes may be there in later part of the life also, and it may remain for more than 2 to 3 years. So you can offer estrogen therapy to her.
Okay.
We will, as she is having a removal of uterus, so no need of additional progesterone also. You can give her oral estrogen therapy, and I am sure that she will feel better.
Okay. Yes.
Along with that, you should always, as such, her weight is normal, but you can always ask her that she should have lifestyle modification and remain fit,
Yes.
avoid triggering factors, and like that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Can you suggest me the doses? 55 kg is her weight.
Yeah, you can start with 1 milligram. And if she is not getting relief, then you can just increase the dose to 2 milligram.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, better.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, we have received a query from Dr. Shraddha Tiwari. What medicine should I prescribe for hot flushes?
See, you can start if patient doesn't want to have hormone therapy, then considering all the criteria of the female, we can decide. But you can try SSRI, that also gives a good result. You can give SSRI for a few months, and if not relieved, then you can use hormone therapy. But best one will be the hormone therapy. You can start with estrogen preparation, oral estrogen preparation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would again like to announce and request all the participating doctors, if you have any queries, please put it in the chat section of the Q&A box, or you can raise your hand if you want to talk to ma'am regarding a case, or maybe regarding the topic. If you want to have any talk, please raise your hand, or you can put your queries in the Q&A box or the chat section.
Okay, Shalini, let us.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, we have received a question from Dr. Yugandha Krishnapriya. What about estrogen cream Evolant? How many times to apply per week? Then, thank you, madam.
Estrogen cream Evalon that is available in the form. Usually it should be applied daily for 15 days. After that, it should be used twice a week, alternate day for 15 days. Then it should be used twice a week, then once a week, then at 15 days, then once a month, like that. But regarding hot flushes, local estrogen cream will not be that much helpful when patient is having genitourinary syndrome of menopause. That is when patient is having repeated urinary tract infection or atrophic vaginitis, dyspareunia, and dryness in the vagina, then this local application of estrogen will definitely help.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing the question.
Yeah.
So, participating doctors, this is for the last time I'd like to announce. If you have any queries, please put it in the chat section of the Q&A box. Or if it's taking time to write it, you can please raise your hand. We'll wait for another 30 seconds or so, and if we don't receive any query, ma'am, we can conclude the session for today.
Okay, sure. Okay, we can leave, Shalini.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and thank you for sharing such a beautiful session with us, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I would also like to thank all the participating doctors for joining in with us and for your patience. Thank you so much. Bye, ma'am. Take care.
Okay, bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
bye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Pleasure is all ours, ma'am.